Alright, hey guys, OnlyGamer here, back on another video, and once again, something a little bit different. This is the type of video that I don't usually make, to be honest. I mean, whenever there's like a Nintendo Direct or like a new game showcase or something, I don't usually talk about it, and that's mainly because, well, like every other YouTuber's talking about it, and I don't really have like anything myself to add to the conversation, if that makes sense. So I don't really talk about these showcases, but I thought I'd talk about that new Nintendo Direct that we just had yesterday, because I must say it was probably the best Nintendo Direct we've had in quite some time. I'll be honest, some of the more recent Nintendo Directs have been pretty mid in my opinion, but it was still better than that State of Play. Anything's better than that god-awful fucking State of Play we had recently. I mean, that was horrendous. That State of Play was so bad, it actually made me not want to get a PS5. It made me want to get an Xbox instead. Like, I'm not even joking, I'm actually going to get a Series X now instead of a PS5 because of how bad that State of Play was. So, well done, Sony, you just sold me on an Xbox. But anyway, so let's talk about Nintendo Direct. Let's go over like what was announced. I'm pretty sure you guys all know by now, but in case you don't, I'll just briefly go over what was announced. So yeah, a lot of really cool announcements, and especially considering like we're near the tail end of the Switch life cycle now. I mean, the Switch 2 is going to be out probably sometime next year, and usually around this time, like the last year or so of a Nintendo system's life, it would usually be like pretty quiet for the most part. But no, the Switch is still bringing us like top tier games by the looks of it, even in like what, its 8th year. It's just insane. But yeah, so they started things off with showing off a new Mario and Luigi game, which there hasn't been a new one in over 9 years. I mean, there was like some remakes on the 3DS they did, but like a whole brand new entry, there hasn't been a new one in a long time. So yeah, they showed that Mario and Luigi Brothership. Not really my kind of thing, to be honest. It did look pretty interesting, but I'm not into RPGs or anything. But I do know that Mario and Luigi is a beloved series, so it's good to see like that make a return. The Nintendo World Championships, the NES edition, that comes out in July. Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. It's kind of similar to NES Remix, where you play like a bunch of... It's basically like a speedrun game, where you speedrun like these old NES games, trying to get like the best time and stuff. Obviously based on the original Nintendo World Championships. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Will I be picking it up? Maybe. Maybe later on if it's like at a discount or something. I don't know, it looks interesting. But yeah, I'm not really like a speedrun type of guy, personally. I mean, like, I've seen like some insane speedruns on YouTube. Like, I saw one recently of someone beat the entirety of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 in like 2 minutes 30 seconds. I shit you not. Like, how people even get the skills to do that kind of thing is beyond me. But yeah, but it looks like a pretty interesting game. Next they showed Fairy Tail 2, another RPG based on some anime. I just don't really care for it, to be honest. Fantasian Neo Dimension or something, like another RPG. There was a lot of like JRPGs and stuff shown off in this showcase, and like I said before, I'm not an RPG guy, so that's another game that I personally don't care for. If you care for it, that's great, but I don't. It's just not my thing. They showed an update for Nintendo Switch Sports. Yeah, remember that game? The game that tried to be Wii Sports, but it's nowhere near as good as Wii Sports. They're adding a new sport to it, basketball. Yay. I mean, it's a free update, so you can't really complain, but still, I mean, Nintendo Switch Sports, I never even liked the look of this game, even like when it was first like released, because, I mean, first of all, they don't even include like the actual Miis. How can you make a spiritual successor to Wii Sports and not include Miis as playable characters? I mean, like, what the hell? It just has like this weird generic sort of art style to it. I never liked the look of it. I'd much rather just play Wii Sports, What's next? Mio Memories in Orbit. It's like a platforming game. Kind of reminded me of, what was that game on Xbox? Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Kind of reminded me on that. Comes out in 2025. Again, not really my thing, but it's got a pretty cool art style to it. There was an update for Disney Illusion Island, which is like a platformer, obviously starring like Mickey Mouse and stuff. I mean, it looks okay, I guess. Yeah, that's another free update that they showed for a pre-existing game. And the next one was Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which when I first saw it, the first thing I immediately thought was, this looks like Animal Crossing, but with Hello Kitty. Like, that's exactly what it looks. It literally looks like Animal Crossing, but the Hello Kitty version. Another game that doesn't interest me, you know. I mean, I never even, to be honest, I never even was like into Animal Crossing or anything. I mean, I never play any of the games, so I don't have a definitive opinion on the series. You know, if that's your type of thing, then good, but it just never really appealed to me, you know. Like, Animal Crossing was just one of those Nintendo franchises I just, to me anyway, just never really did anything. You know, I never played like you know, I never played like New Horizons or anything like during lockdown, you know, like many people did. You know, it's just, you know, I'm not saying they're bad games or anything, but it's just not my thing personally. But if you like Hello Kitty and Animal Crossing, this is clearly the game for you. Alright, then they showed a Looney Tunes game, Wacky World of Sports. Yeah, it's just like another sports game, like Nintendo Switch Sports, but with Looney Tune characters. It has like a sort of cel-shaded look to it. Yeah, not really a whole lot to say. The trailer for it was pretty brief. Alright, and then there was another free update for everyone's favourite game, Among Us. Never really cared for it, you know. I mean, aside from like the memes that were kind of funny back in the day, Among Us never gave two fucks about it. I'm gonna be honest. Like, the only reason why people were even playing that game was because it was like during lockdown. They mainly used it just to like interact with their friends again, you know, like when everyone was like stuck in their homes. You know, that's pretty much the only reason why the game's popular. I mean, let's be honest. But yeah, there's a free update. There's new roles coming to Among Us. Yay. Alright, the next game, I don't even know how the hell you even pronounce it. Farmagia or some shit, I don't know. It's another weird like JRPG that has like farming elements to it. Like, there's a part where like in the trailer where you see like this dude like grows a plant and it, like turns into a wolf or something. I don't know, just some weird Japanese thing. But yeah, that comes out November 1st. So I mean, if you like your Japanese RPGs, I mean this direct's got you covered, or just RPGs in general, because, you know, the first game they showed was, you know, Mario and Luigi. You know, a lot of like Mario RPG love on the Switch, you know, as of late. You know, there was a Super Mario RPG remake that came out at the end of last year. There was the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake that came out very recently. So yeah, if you're an RPG fan, you're eating good on the Switch. Alright, and then they showed Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, a port of a what, like 14-year-old game that originally came out on the Wii. That's returning in HD. I mean, it's got all the levels from like the 3DS version as well, so it's kind of like the definitive edition, I guess, of Donkey Kong Country Returns. Yeah, it's just another remaster, you know. We're probably going to see a lot more of these, you know, now the Switch is like winding down and Nintendo's going to save all their big games for the Switch 2, you know. We're probably going to end up seeing a lot of like remakes and remasters, which I'm personally just sick of seeing. I mean, that's why like I've been put off with the PS5 at the moment. It's because just that's all Sony releases. It's just remasters and remakes of PS4 games that you can already play on the PS5 already. I'm just sick and tired of seeing all these remasters and stuff. But yeah, and for some reason this one doesn't come out until 2025, like January 16th. Which I don't know why, because it's a slightly up-res version of a Wii game. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can probably play the original in like Dolphin emulator and achieve the same result, but whatever, you're gonna have to wait till January for that one. And then they showed Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. That's actually the name of it. Yeah, and Dragon Quest 1 and 2 as well. Again, just more remakes of old RPG games. I guess, like, were these originally like NES games or something? I don't know too much about the Dragon Quest games, but I think it originally started on the NES. Like, what was it originally called, like Dragon Warrior or something? I don't really know too much about like these type of games because they're not really my thing, but yeah, I mean, that's coming out, you know, remakes of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. And then they showed, oh god, then they showed freaking Funko Fusion, a game starring Funko Pops. I never understood the appeal of Funko Pops, I'm gonna be honest. Like, my dad owns a few, but I never understood the appeal of it. I think they're ugly personally. I've never owned a Funko Pop in my life, and I don't care to own any Funko Pops, because I just don't like the look of them, to be honest. I mean, if that's your thing, then perfectly fine, you know, but it's just not for me. I mean, it is cool that this game does have like a lot of like big franchises attached to it, like Back to the Future, Chucky, Five Nights at Freddy's is in there. So yeah, so if you're into Funko Pops, then you're probably gonna love this game. I think it's like a 3D platform, I think. But yeah, just not for me, sorry. Alright, the next game was the new Denpa Men. I have no idea what the fuck this even was. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, what was that game? Katamari something or other, like the game we play as like the weird green dude that's like rolling things around a giant ball. It kind of gave me like vibes of that. But yeah, but I guess this was like a pre-existing franchise before because it's the new Denpa. I don't know what the hell this is, to be honest. Just another weird Japanese game they showed. And then they showed Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, a new Metal Slug game. Looked pretty interesting. Never played any of the previous games, but I've heard they're pretty good, like 2D, like sort of run and gun games. Alright, then they showed Darkest Dungeon 2. Never heard of the first one. It just looked like, I don't know, man, maybe another RPG. But yeah, but again, it didn't really interest me a whole lot, to be honest. So I'm just gonna move on. Alright, and then they talked about the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. They showed off 2 new GBA games coming to the service and 2 new N64 games as well. The GBA games they showed were Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 4 Swords, which was basically a Link to the Past, but you can play as like 4 versions of Link pretty much. And then also Metroid Zero Mission as well, which I believe was a remake of the original Metroid on NES, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be included. And then 2 mature N64 games are coming to the service. The first one being Turok, the first one, Dinosaur Hunter. I don't really understand why they picked that one, considering Turok's already on the Switch. In fact, all 3 of them are. Turok 1, 2, and 3, the remastered versions, are already on the Switch. So why you would want to play this instead is beyond me. I don't really understand. And the other game was Perfect Dark, the original. Of course, Perfect Dark's coming back with the reboot that they recently showed at the Xbox Game Showcase. And also as well, I'm going to briefly, because I didn't make videos on them before, I'll briefly touch on my thoughts on the Xbox Game Showcase and the recent crappy state of play at the end of this video. So I'll tell you my brief thoughts on those at the end. But yeah, so that's really cool, you know, Perfect Dark coming back. Yeah, Perfect Dark's a game that I actually need to like properly play because I have a demo of it on my 360 and Perfect Dark Zero. But yeah, but I never actually played the full game of Perfect Dark. I have played GoldenEye, the original, but yeah, Perfect Dark I've only kind of really played before. So yeah, that's cool that those games are coming to the Switch Online. And then the next game was another JRPG, Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero. Had like a cutesy sort of chibi art style to it. Yeah, just not my thing. Again, if you like JRPGs, you're gonna love this Nintendo Direct, trust me. This one was a surprise announcement. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. Yeah, so this is a compilation that's gonna have like several different, I think it's got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel Superheroes, I think, what was it, Marvel vs. X-Men, it has a Punisher arcade game, I believe, and what was the other one? There was like, I think it was like 5 or 6 games in total, but this does look pretty interesting, you know, I might actually check this out. Alright, next they showed the new Mario Party game, which was already something that was like leaked beforehand, or at least rumoured about. Super Mario Party Jamboree. This is, I believe, the 3rd Mario Party game on the Switch. I mean, it looks interesting. Never really cared for Mario Party, to be honest. Just hasn't been my thing, but yeah, apparently it's the biggest Mario Party to date. It has the most amount of mini games and most amount of boards as well. It also has like a 20-player like online and stuff. So yeah, so it comes out in October. I won't be getting it personally, but you know, if you like Mario Party, this definitely should be one that you should keep an eye out on. And then they showed a new Legend of Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom. Now this one's pretty interesting. It has the same art style as the Link's Awakening remake that came out in 2019, I think. And in this one, you actually get to play as Zelda. Yeah, it's the first Zelda game since the CDI one, I believe, where you can actually play as Zelda herself. So, yeah, it looked pretty decent. Haven't played Link's Awakening. If you like that game, then you'll definitely like this one. And that comes out September 26th as well, so pretty soon. And then we had, like, the usual suspects, like Just Dance 2025 edition. I mean, like, who's still buying these games, bro? I mean, it's literally like, I know people say the same thing about like FIFA and Madden and stuff, but Just Dance literally is the same fucking thing every single year, just with like a different song lineup. Who's still buying these games in this day and age is beyond me, but apparently people are still buying it because they're making yet another one. But you know what dancing game I would like to see him make again? I want to see him make another Black Eyed Peas Experience game. That I would actually buy. If they made a Black Eyed Peas Experience 2, I would actually buy that day one. And then we have the game that PlayStation fanboys hate to discuss, LEGO Horizon Adventures. Yes, Horizon, a PlayStation IP, is coming over to Nintendo Switch. Just absolutely insane. I mean, obviously it's not a mainline Horizon, it's a LEGO spin-off, but still. I mean, it even said it like right there on the direct, you know, it said PlayStation Publishing above the title. And yeah, we live in a world now where PlayStation's putting games on Nintendo Switch. And, you know, there's also Xbox games on the Switch as well, like, you know, like Grounded, I think was released on Switch. And, yeah, just like they're all releasing games on each other's platforms. You know, Xbox has games on PlayStation, PlayStation has games on Xbox, you know, like MLB The Show and stuff. It's crazy, man. It's crazy the times we live in. Like, who would ever thought that we would ever see this? But yeah, Lego Horizon Adventures. It looks pretty interesting, you know. I do like the Lego games. Never played Horizon though. I might give it a shot. If there's like a free demo or something that comes out for this game, I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, that comes out, I think, winter 2024. We don't have an exact release date yet. But yeah, it's still pretty weird that this is coming out on PS5 and Switch, but not PS4. Considering like the Switch is way less capable than the PS4. You'd think they would bring this to PS4, but they aren't for some reason, which I find kind of strange. Right, and then we have Stray, which was a game that came out, I think, a couple of years ago now. The game where you play as a cat. That's coming to the Switch. It's not a sequel or anything. It's literally just the same game, but now it's coming out on Switch. So, you know, that's... yeah, I guess. I know it got a lot of praise when it came out. Yeah, never really interested me that much. I mean, I do love cats. I mean, like, me personally, I have two, but... yeah, just the game just never really like looked that interesting to me, to be honest. I mean, aside from the novelty of you playing as a cat, it just, I don't know, never really looked that appealing. What was next? Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. It's a Lord of the Rings game. Don't really know what else to say. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection, obviously a collection of various Ace Attorney games or Phoenix Wright, you know. It also has some games that were only ever released in Japan, so they'll be getting like Western releases for the first time, and that comes out September 6th, so another game that's coming out like really soon. I mean, it looks okay if you're into this kind of thing, you know. Next was the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. When I first saw this, the first one that came to my mind immediately was Danganronpa. Because I immediately knew, I recognized it from the art style that it was Danganronpa. And I thought it was a Danganronpa game, and I was like, sort of right. It's made by the same developers, but as far as I'm aware, it's not in the same franchise. Yeah, another like JRPG, I think, comes out in 2025. You might like it if you like Danganronpa, but just not for me, honestly. Next was Romance and Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, another JRPG. Like I said, there was tons in this direct. I think this is another remake, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that comes out October 24th. It's just another JRPG, you know. So I won't be playing it. And then they saved the best for last. Oh yes, it happened. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yeah, they've added a subtitle to it. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It's real. This is like the first time they've even mentioned the game in like, what, 5 years? The last time they talked about it, they mentioned that the game was like restart development or something. But yeah, but this game was announced like over 7 years ago now at E3 2017. And we're only now just seeing gameplay of it for the first time. And it looks amazing. You know, it looks really good. You know, it looks a lot like the Metroid Prime 1 remaster that they did a couple years back. And yeah, I'm just glad this game's finally coming, you know. I mean, I'm not really a Metroid guy personally, and I haven't played Prime before. I know, shocking. But this does look really cool. This makes me want to play like the other Prime games, you know. I mean, I do want to get Metroid Prime. I want to get the original OG one on the GameCube, you know. I mean, I know there's a remaster, but I don't know. I just prefer playing games on their original intended hardware. And I know the second one's on GameCube, third one's on Wii. But yeah, this looks pretty good, you know, I must say. This I low-key want to get when it comes out in 2025. So yeah, I'm just glad they finally showed it, because this game was just a mystery for the longest time. You know, it was like Duke Nukem Forever or something. You know, it was this game that like we didn't know was, you know, even going to come out, you know, because it's been so long since they last like talked about it. Yeah, but I'm glad that they finally showed that off. And yeah, that was it. That was a Nintendo Direct. Pretty freaking good. In my opinion, not as good as the Xbox Game Showcase. I mean, that was just insane. I mean, with all the games that were coming day one to Game Pass. I mean, like, Doom Dark Ages looked really freaking good. Can't wait for that. Of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, we all know about. Still amazed that they're actually bringing that onto PS4 and Xbox One. Like, yeah, still in 2024, Call of Duty's still coming out on the last-gen consoles, which I'm going to get it for the PS4, and I'm really curious to see how it runs on that system, because I have the base PS4. Yeah, hopefully it's not like a mess or anything, but or like downscaled like Black Ops 3 was on PS3 and 360. But yeah, the Perfect Dark reboot they showed. What else? Yeah, Gears E-Day as well, new Gears of War. Yeah, the Xbox Game Showcase was hands down the best showcase out of the three. That state of play was fucking garbage. I'm not gonna lie, that state of play was so bad. Again, it made me want to get an Xbox instead. I'm no longer interested in the PS5. Until Sony starts releasing actual proper games and not just remasters of PS4 games, I'm not getting a PS5, right? I'm getting a Series X. But besides, all the games I want for PS5 anyway are also on Series X as well. So it's just like, plus the Series X has backwards compatibility with original Xbox 360 and Xbox One. You know, I never had an Xbox One before, so if I bought a Series X, I'd finally be able to play, you know, like the Forza Horizon games and stuff I never got a chance to play last gen. So yeah, so basically that was my thoughts on Nintendo Direct and my brief thoughts on the other showcases. You know, Xbox being the best one, Nintendo being second best, and then PlayStation would be ranked like 10,000. They would be like at the very bottom because it was goddamn awful. But yeah, so anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this Direct in the comment section. I know this is a different type of video. I don't really usually do these my thoughts on videos anymore, but I want to do one for this Nintendo Direct since a lot of people are talking about it at the moment, and I felt it was the best Nintendo Direct we've had in a really long time, so I want to give like my thoughts on it to you guys. But yeah, so let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and let me know which game you're most looking forward to as well. That Metroid Prime 4 does look pretty banging, I'm not gonna lie. I wish we had more gameplay of it, but yeah, that might be a game I might pick up when it comes out, but I'll have to play the, you know, first 3 Metroid Primes first beforehand. But anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and peace. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care now.